Lady Colin Campbell, I have to say, I am just totally cracking up and finding it hilarious. The more I'm being told from my sources at Netflix about how furious, incandescent was the word that was actually used, Lady C, Meghan Markle is, over the fact that Netflix have effectively decided to put her on the scrap heap, realizing that With Love Meghan is a complete disaster, and at the same time go all in on Victoria Beckham, her arch rival, Lady C, who is now going to be hosting this blockbuster. There was the announcement, launching on the 9th of October. And of course, Lady C, this is getting all of the treatment and the coverage and the marketing and the commercial push that Netflix didn't even bother with the most recent Meghan series. She, of course, believes this is some type of, entertainment conspiracy to destroy her. But isn't the reality, Lady C, that Netflix have just realized that people are much more interested in Victoria Beckham, and she has much more hope of becoming a big star for them, who's actually going to deliver subscriptions, than Meghan ever will?
Big switch-up vibes tonight. Insiders say Netflix has quietly moved Meghan Markle to the back burner while going all in on her longtime frenemy, Victoria Beckham. Incandescent is the word doing the rounds to describe Meghan's mood after her latest series fizzled while Victoria lands the glossy rollout, trailers, billboards, and a prime launch window. To Meghan, it looks like a stitch-up. To Netflix, it looks like math. Victoria plus Beckham brand equals clicks, fashion, and global nostalgia. The optics are brutal. One project all velvet rope and spotlights, the other barely a whisper. Translation: the streamer has picked its heroine.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's as obvious as the nose on your or my face. The Beckhams are actually genuine stars. I think that Victoria's dress line, her dress house, is a massive money guzzler that isn't really a success. But they can afford to keep that vanity project going, and they have been doing so. And it gives her, a sort of raison d'etre that's aside from being Mrs. David Beckham, and keeps her relevant in terms of the fashion industry. And as long as they can keep that going, she has valid professional qualifications, as does he. And of course, the fact that he is now pretty close to the king and representing the king's trust in various ways. And they are received at the palace in a way that Harry and Meghan aren't. And I mean, it's actually, it's funny as well.
It is. The whole thing is hilarious. It was actually, look, it was a masterstroke. It was a PR masterstroke. And Lady C, we know that these games are played behind the scenes at the palaces between the households. We always have. But in this case, Lady C, William and his court at Kensington Palace and Charles and his court at Buckingham Palace were completely aligned on the fact that, okay, Harry and Meghan have gone. We need a younger couple who are well respected, but also household names and well loved. And they mutually realized the obvious answer was David and Victoria Beckham, who get on very well with both Camilla and Catherine, have done for some years. And of course, what is so galling for Prince Harry about this is that they also used to get on well with Harry and Meghan, until Victoria Beckham made these totally outlandish claims that Meghan Markle was leaking stories about her to the tabloid press. Now, I mean, Lady C, I was executive editor.
You've got it the wrong way around, Dan. You've got it the wrong way around.
Oh, what did I say?
You said Victoria. It was Meghan who said Victoria was leaking.
Yes, sorry. Yes, exactly. Meghan said that Victoria was leaking the stories. And it's like, are you insane? Like, Meghan is the biggest leak on the planet, as we know, but she was trying to say that Victoria was leaking negative stories about her. It was nuts. And then Harry went over to the Invictus Games and ignored David Beckham, who had taken 2 of his children to Sydney it was one of the biggest PR own goals in a very long time. But again, it makes all of this so much more sweet, I think, because we know that there's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge going on all the time between the royals and Victoria and David, who know that they are fulfilling the role and the glamour that would have been taken in the past by Harry and Meghan. I think it's beautiful to see.
But also, let's not forget that Meghan is supposedly advising Nicola Peltz Beckham
Yes.
in Brooklyn. So, because she knows what it's like to be on the outs with a powerful family and blah, blah, blah. So there's that going on as well. Anybody with a conscience and scruples would think, excuse me, you do not take advantage of family estrangements and do it publicly. Yet Meghan and Harry have done precisely that, inviting the young Beckhams around and leaking that Meghan is giving Nicola the benefit of her wisdom. Let me show you how to be a proper bitch, just let me show you.
I know, it's like, if there's one person you should not be listening to, oh my God.
It's a joke. But I mean, the whole thing, all of this is so bizarre, but it's fabulous entertainment. And it really is entertaining.
It is very entertaining, Lady C. But look, I've got to ask you about Tina Brown. Because she is obviously someone who is considered, Lady C, I guess, one of the doyens of royal reporting, in part because of her time, her very successful era when she was the editor of Vanity Fair, and Vanity Fair was the be-all and end-all, and alongside Anna Wintour, she obviously got to know Princess Diana, and they were considered friends, and obviously she ran some of those very famous images, those Testino images of Princess Diana. But lately, Lady C, she has really been turning the screws on the royal family and leading the charge against Prince William and for Prince Harry.
Here's the feud file everyone's dusting off. The Beckhams once ran in Sussex circles, until Meghan, per multiple reports, accused Victoria of leaking to the tabloids. That blew up a golden bridge. Cue Sydney. David Beckham brings 2 kids to support Invictus. Harry gives him the cold shoulder, an own goal that still echoes. Since then, royal courtiers have clearly warmed to Team Beckham. Charles trusts David with charity roles. Victoria is Kensington friendly, and the couple glide through palace doors Harry and Meghan no longer do. The symbolism writes itself. The Beckhams now occupy the glamour slot the Sussexes vacated.
And this week in particular, she wrote about Prince Harry's new gambit in her Substack and is like full on backing Harry over William. And given she's so influential, especially in the American media, Lady C, if it's okay, I just wanted to take you through some of what she said and get you to respond. So she said of his tour this week, Prince Harry does Prince Charming. At last, Prince Harry has got it right, which is bad news for the Prince of Wales. After 5 years of exuding the wrath and spouting therapeutic gibberish, the Ginger Whinger finally realised that all the royals have to do to win public opinion is zip around the UK and smile, watching Harry's high gusto balloon sword fight with a sweetly gratified disabled 9-year-old girl at the Well Child Awards in London, and the dance moves he busted at the Children in Need community recording studio in Nottingham, brought a shaft of royal optimism to a country whose national motto should be, "It will be ready in 6 weeks." As Harry's buoyant photo ops duelled with Prince William and Kate's engagements for press coverage this week, you had to ask, who would you rather hang with? The Tigger-like Duke of Sussex or sober-appropriate William? And infinitely perfect Kate taking tea and cake with a cooing chapter of one of Queen Elizabeth's most beloved but groaningly square charities, the Women's Institute? Probably more fun was to be had at the King's diverting house party at Balmoral, where His Majesty and Camilla entertained such national treasures as glamorous ad-fab fossil Joanna Lumley and rollicking human rights barrister Baroness Helena Kennedy, who kicked off the traces by not conforming to the tartan dress code. Harry's own reset, a positivity campaign he hopes will endear him to his still estranged father and a negative British public, came with a new unexpected gambit, a contribution from his own bank account of £1.1 million to the Children in Need project. It cannily unleashed for William the uneasy question of what exactly the 43-year-old Prince William is doing with the £23 million a year he gets from the Duchy of Cornwall. Back when Charles was Prince of Wales, he was a powerhouse of philanthropy, starting at age 27 when he used his £7,000 400 severance pay from the Royal Navy to seed the Prince's Trust, which has gone on to raise more than £100 million a year. Without wishing to be churlish, I can't help pointing out that William's annual Earthshot prize of £1 million, covered by sponsors, to 5 promising innovators in the climate change space is a little underwhelming. But perhaps I am now too American. I am used to such big dick largesse. Now, I'm sorry, Lady C. I actually take real issue with this, but I think the thing I take most issue with, but I'll let you respond, but is this idea that we all want to be hanging out with the man-child that is Prince Harry. You know, I would argue this is a 40-something who still thinks he's a teenager. He hasn't developed, he hasn't matured. And there was nothing fun about that sword fight, Lady C. He literally was doing it. Did you see it? Meghan posted the video. He was doing it for a few seconds. He heard the camera flashes. The moment they stopped, he walked off. He didn't give a damn about the young girl. He wanted to give the image to the media. And by the way, and I don't want to slag off these people, Lady C, but the only people hanging out with him at Wellchild was Ed-listers like Peter Andre, lovely guy, and Kimberly Walsh, formerly of Girls Aloud. So I just don't really know if Tina Brown has got her analysis of Harry's trip right.
Well, I mean, Dan, I actually like Tina. And Tina used to be very eminent, but Tina is no longer eminent, you know, to be blunt about it all. And I don't want to be rude about her because I like her. And she is a good journalist. But Tina is having to reconcile having been very woke, having been very positive about Meghan and Harry, having been totally on side with the Black Lives Matter movement and how Black women of such a dark complexion as Meghan that you couldn't see her at night unless the lights were on brightly, and all of that rubbish that they went on with, when of course Meghan is more fair-skinned than her sister Samantha, but so I'm trying to make the point that it's all absolute claptrap and rubbish that she was coming up with. And she did this for a period of years until it became untenable. And when she wanted to start this Substack, she realized that she needed to come up with a new shtick. So Tina is having to reconcile having been both pro-Nazi and pro-Jewish, let's put it that way. Pretty irreconcilable. And she catches herself between two stools pretty regularly. And I think an awful lot of that is what is going on, because Tina is trying to keep herself relevant, and she has come late to a game that other people are already very well established in, including you and, dare I say it, me. And Tina doesn't have the following that either you nor I has. So if you begin to look at it from that point of view, the reason why she's shilly-shallying and falling between two stools, and she's damning William and Catherine with faint praise, but she's making sure she praises them, because Tina is very adept at keeping in with the powers that be. And so I think if you consider the source, you realize what's really going on. And quite frankly, you can flick her off the way we flick off lint. Sorry.
Yes. Well, I do get what you're saying. There was some interesting news, though, Lady C, in terms of the relationship between William and Charles. And what's interesting is she actually says it's worse now between William and Charles than it is between Harry and Charles. So again, I want to get your take on this, but this is her reporting.
Meanwhile, the Hollywood chessboard is messy. Meghan has been linked to giving Nicola Pelt's Beckham been there advice about navigating a powerful family, which only turns the temperature up. But the business reality bites harder. Netflix loves proven brand-safe spectacle, and Victoria delivers it. Fashion, family, and soft power Britain without the culture war hangover. Executives crave subscriber lift, not weekly firefights. That's why Victoria's show gets a red carpet push while Meghan's rollout felt like a shrug. In a town allergic to risk, the Beckham machine is a safer bet than Sussex fatigue.
She says, while the British press obsesses over the question of a Harry-Charles reunion getting warmer or a Harry-William rapprochement not going to happen, the king is, I am told, and remember she does have lots of establishment royal sources, currently less irritated with the prodigal Harry than he is with his elder son and heir. Somehow William's parenting dedication always seems couched as a tacit criticism of the king's own paternal deficiencies. And after 5 confirmed family vacations in the past 7 months, William's first week back diary pulsated with 2 items: a father-daughter excursion to a Women's World Cup pool match and a stroll through the Natural History Museum's new gardens. Charles, despite his battle with cancer, has carried out official engagements on 175 days during the past 12 months. And Lady C, this is the new attack line. Have you noticed this? And it's clearly now being briefed out, I believe, from Buckingham Palace. I'm just gonna say it, that because we saw it in all of the attack pieces that were running in the Daily Mail over the past couple of weeks that we've already discussed. And it misses the point that William has made it clear, Lady C, he's not going to do the whole competition over engagement numbers. That's not where he thinks the royal family needs to go. And you can either argue with that or not, but he wants to do fewer engagements, but make a bigger impact.
Well, yes, but he's made that absolutely clear that that is his stance. And I think, Dan, we need to be very careful of who's briefing whom and why and how and what the objectives are. It's the Harry and Meghan camp would love to have as much division perceived, and hopefully they will end up sowing as much as they can between Charles and William. And that would be an answer to their prayers. But it's also an answer to the media's prayers. And it's an answer to Tina's prayers. It could even be an answer to your and my prayers if we were so inclined. But the fact of the matter is, my understanding is that there are elements recurring with the Charles and William relationship as occurred with the Queen and Charles in the last decade of her reign, where the heir in line is being incorporated and is being listened to and is being to an extent deferred to. Now, of course, at the moment, there's no way of dancing around it, so I'll come straight out and say, for a long time, the press have said that William and Catherine are lazy. And they would like to continue to be able to say that they're lazy. The fact that William and Catherine have had a very tough year and that she is not out of the woods yet, which is what people seem to forget. But also, I suspect Tina knows quite a bit about the state of Catherine's health and would love to be able to pry that jar open so that she and many of her cohorts can run with all of the contents of that jar. And
exactly, they're making almost like threats to William and Catherine. They want William and Catherine to march to the beat of their drum, which I don't think is going to happen. But I mean, Lady C, this is not, I mean, the reason I keep coming back to this, right, is because even though you are completely correct, we are changing the media. It is important to say that, you know, we are now independent sources where we are not tied into this network and we can report the truth and we don't have to play these games. But it would also be naive to suggest that the mainstream media has no power at the moment. And I have seen such a marked change, Lady C, with the Daily Mail over the past few months, but particularly the past few weeks. And remember, I know how it works there. These columns are only commissioned if the editor is wanting to make a point. And at the moment, the editor of the Daily Mail is wanting to make a very clear point. William and Catherine, you're on notice, and we're backing your arch rivals who are taking us to court. And I believe there's also that aspect going on too. They want a settlement with Prince Harry in this court case, which is due to come in front of the judge in January, I believe. But anyway, I just wanted to give that context before I show you.
Can I make another point? Which is that Tobin Andre used to be the deputy editor.
And he's now the communications secretary for King Charles.
Yeah. And you and I both know the way the Mail works and how duplicitous, devious, etc. And they are fully aware that if they concoct stories that will suit them, suit their narratives, actually assist with currying favor with Harry and Meghan, and they do it in such a way that the average outsider, especially journalist, looking in will think, Tobin Andre is setting this up. So all of a sudden, Tobin Andre and Charles's team are being blamed for things that they actually have nothing to do with.
Yes, indeed. It's a
wonderful double and triple bluff.
Exactly.
And
a false flag operation in the world of PR, which does happen as well. And you are right to point it out. But what I would say, Lady C, though, is that right now this coverage is purposeful. Because look at how within hours, this literally happened within 2 hours of that meeting earlier this week between Harry and King Charles. Liz Jones, who is one of those attack dogs used by the Daily Mail editor, was sent out with this column, and this was the column which was driving their narrative. Harry is doing, I mean, I couldn't even believe the headline. Harry is doing everything right, and I am overjoyed at his long-awaited reunion with Charles. Now mean William needs to get off his high horse. And she said, haven't we all been praying for this? I mean, no, absolutely not. I don't think there's probably a human being in the United Kingdom, apart from maybe Chris Shipp and Charlotte Griffiths and Omid Scobie, who have been praying for this.
Oh, and the editors, the present editors of the Daily Mail. You're actually, in fact, Dan, you're proving my point. As you're bringing this up, I didn't even know about this, but as you're proving my point, it's a brilliant operation on behalf of Associated Newspapers to end up, and they are ending up dropping the King or Prince William in it, or both of them at the same time, which is going to curry favor with Harry as well and cause jubilation at Montecito. I mean, you talk about double and triple bluffing, but it's a brilliant exercise. And you and I both know how the Mail works. But it's interesting that to an outsider looking in, they think, oh, well, maybe Tobin Andre is briefing and to boost the king and put pressure on William, when in fact it's an in-house job from the Mail.
Well, yes.
That's my take on it.
Yes, but what's interesting to me, Lady C, and this is where I do believe there is some coordination, is that the attack lines, or as they're described in the industry, the talking points that are being used by Tina Brown and Liz Jones are eerily similar. So obviously two people can have the same thoughts, but this is all quite interesting to me. So within this column, Lady C, and again, this is Liz Jones, not Tina Brown, but very, very similar. She writes, the firm lacks imagination and awareness. Compare Harry, tireless open shirt at the Blast Injury Studies visit Wednesday. Harry's banter is spontaneous, priceless. With William at a new mental health hub in Cardiff this afternoon, buttoned up with his tie duly knotted. This is ruling by numbers, not emotion and instinct. Well, I'm sorry, Lady C, I actually would much rather have William's approach, if I'm honest, but you see what I'm saying. This is very coordinated. And then she just finishes. Let me just read out the end of the column. She says, I so hope the king did the right thing and welcomes Harry back into the fold, that the ginger nut returns to the US beaming from ear to ear. In just this one visit alone, it seems Harry is doing everything right. Let's see if his royal relatives can rise to the occasion too, Lady C.
But Dan, the Mail for some time now has been taking the approach that they are biblical scholars and they are going to teach the king and William all about forgiveness, and they are going to use the fable of the prodigal son, quite forgetting that the prodigal son actually apologized and said to his father, if you will have me back, I will return as the lowest of your servants. Harry has evidently privately sort of apologized, but that's not the same thing, and he's only done it recently. And but of course it suits all the publications to have Peter fighting against Paul. They love it, setting one side off against the other. It's perfect. And I don't think that there's necessarily great coordination, so much as sharks know how to swim and know how to attack sea lions. And both in terms of this scenario, both Tina and Liz Jones are sharks, and William and Catherine, and to an extent Charles and Camilla, are sea lions, and they're going to go, let's devour them. And it makes for great copy. It makes for great copy.
I know.
And it has everybody talking, including us.
Yes, that's true. But my God, I just feel like we don't need good copy so much that we want to welcome Prince Harry back into the fold. But fascinating insight as ever from Lady Colin Campbell.
So what does this power pivot mean? Simple. The crown adjacent glamour lane is being reassigned. Victoria Beckham is suddenly the face of Cool Britannia 2, waving from inside the tent, while Meghan's on the outside, watching a rival soak up the love she expected. If Meghan wants back in, she needs one undeniable hit: story first, sermon second, and a total tone reset. Otherwise, the industry will keep choosing calm over chaos and corgis over controversy. Your take: is Netflix backing the right queen of chic? Or is this a calculated snub to the Duchess of PR? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you felt the seismic shift, and subscribe for more no-filter royal and royal adjacent drama.